Hello guys, thank you very much for tuning back in to my little vlogs. Today we're doing maybe like a little vlog podcast, little hybrid thing going on here due to the fact of recent events that happened with the band Linkin Park. Lead singer and frontman, as we all know by now, Chester Bennington is no longer with us.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to Chester, and our prayers go out to his family, to his kids, his wife,
The band,
bandmates, their families. These guys have been with each other their whole lives, so we can't even imagine what they're going through right now. Today I have with me Mikey. Mikey's one of my best friends. We've been with each other our whole lives, so. The reason why I wanted to do this video with Mikey was because we've had Linkin Park our whole lives. Linkin Park is a connection we've had since the very beginning of our friendship, our childhood, and that's what makes this hard for us because Linkin Park was a band that we had. It's a childhood connection. When things from your childhood, when something bad happens from something from your childhood, and it never. It never goes away from you. I had a pet from when I was like in third grade. I had a cat. Still considered my little best friend cat. Passed away. Lived 17 years. That was really emotional for me. Had that cat probably since I was like I said, elementary school. So
rest in peace, Coco.
Rest in peace, Coco. So that's hard. We know how hard it is to lose a pet. And a lot of people were asking me, why get emotional over someone from a band or a celebrity? Normally I wouldn't cry for a celebrity. I might get sad, very sad and stuff like that. But the only few times where I've gotten really emotional in my life, where like I said, when I lost my pet, that childhood connection, Linkin Park is a childhood connection for me. So
definitely,
losing their lead singer, it was very hard. So thank you for joining us on this. If you're an LP fan, if you've ever heard a song of theirs throughout your whole entire lifetime or anything, anything about Linkin Park, thank you very much for tuning in and watching this. We feel you every single type of way. We got the feels big time. So in this show, we're just gonna go through a couple of segments of what Chester meant to us. Talk a little bit about music, impact he had on globally. We wanted to start off with a couple of things that we have, little personal physical items. So we have a couple CD disc albums here, vinyl. So right here we have the Thousand Suns album right here, CDs. Personally for me, I love getting my albums like this still because we're 90s kids. I like to still do that. I like to buy my albums like this, and of course I got it on my phone. I got them digitally on my phone. You know what I mean? So don't get me wrong. I'm not listening to the CD player. I listen to everything on my phone too. But I love having this.
There's something about having the physical copy and just being able to collect it, and it means something. So
we grew up with CDs. We didn't grow up with MP3 files and stuff like that. Eventually, the 90s kids, we grew up through that stuff. It was like we were the generation that grew up with technology, this technology wave. So
I remember when the coolest Motorola phone had some iTunes integration or something with Apple Music or something like that, where you could have up to 100 songs on your Motorola phone. It was some white little. Maybe we'll find a picture of it or something, but
100.
Yeah, 100, and that was a big deal. So
that was a big deal.
I had one that held 8 songs at one point. So.
Oh my God. So we have a Thousand Suns album. We have Living Things, and we have a story behind Living Things.
Living Things. So this CD is just the case, as I showed you a second ago. It's empty. Reason being, he let me borrow it one time. It was in my car. I would listen to it, I would jam it out. It had just come out and he ripped it on his computer, fully listened to it, so he let me borrow it. I got into a car accident, totaled my car, and it stayed in the CD player. So, in return, I bought him the vinyl variant.
And it was funny because I would ask him, hey Mike, you got the do you have that Living Things CD I let you borrow? Like, did you listen to it? Did you get to like, put it on your laptop or anything like that? And he, man, did you ever give that to me, Lawrence? I was like, yeah, man, I gave it to you. I'm pretty sure I let you borrow it. He's like, ooh, I think that was in my car that I told. So then
this was I feel like this was a fair trade-off. It was a good return.
So then
I replenished it and more. So we got this the Living Things vinyl, and the actual record comes in a full white. It's not translucent or anything, but it's I think this is beautiful. It's one of the best vinyls I've seen.
Obviously, I have the Living Things on my phone because I ripped it prior to it being no longer here, the CD version. And but this is cool. This vinyl also has like a track listing with lyrics on it, so it's like beautiful, and then like some artwork, posters and stuff like that. And then we also have the Recharged remix album of Living Things. So as you can see here, we don't have the norm. The norm would be a lot of people would have Hybrid Theory, Meteora, stuff like that.
Collision Course, maybe.
Collision Course, maybe.
I haven't seen too many people with an actual physical copy of that though, so that'd be pretty cool to see.
So we wanted to grab different things that this is how much we love the band. We love all of their work. We want to give recognition to all their work. So we don't have like the norm stuff. We got different things a little later in their careers and stuff like that.
We also went to a concert. Linkin Park concert back in, it was 2015, was it?
Yeah.
It was down in St. Petersburg?
No, it was in West Palm Beach. It was in West Palm Beach.
It was down in West Palm Beach.
Yeah, I was in college at the time, like not in our hometown area, so I was in the university. So I came back down to Orlando area, and then we went. Mikey and I, my sister Catherine, we went to West Palm Beach.
Took a little road trip down there.
Mm-hmm.
We got there a little bit early and kind of scoped out the area. And then, we just got to see the concert. It was amazing to see the vocals live and the whole band just really, it's one of the best live experiences I've been to for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hands down. Many reasons why Linkin Park is still, relevant today is because of, one of those reasons is because of their concerts. They're such, if not one of the best, like when it comes to giving a show live. Their songs, a lot of people have opinions that their songs live, some of them sound better than the studio version. That's how good. That's how you know how talented they are. They can hype a crowd up, get everybody in the fields, all that stuff. So. It was a blessing for us to like be able to go to a Linkin Park concert finally.
Yeah, because clearly that if that was in 2015, that was years after the 15 years.
Yeah,
15 years listening to the band, and that's when we finally went to a concert.
Mm-hmm.
Which in reality, it may have even been a bit of a benefit because we got to see the full range of their discography up to that point, not just the Hybrid Theories and the Meteoras, but everything there on after that. They definitely sprinkled the old hits throughout the concert, but we also got to see the more recent stuff and really the range of music that they can produce.
I bought this shirt, if you can see it, all the way through, the little logo on the bottom, obviously it says Linkin Park. This shirt kind of reminds me like Burn It Down, because I think it was during this time Living Things came out when I bought this shirt. And for me, it kind of resembles, I think when I bought the shirt, it said something maybe about Burn It Down, maybe, which is obviously one of their songs and one of the singles off Living Things. I wore this to the concert, so this shirt is going to be with me forever. And the other thing about the concert that's really kind of sad and emotional too is that that's the last time we'll ever see the whole band's playing. So I thank God we were able to see that. We were able to see all of them on the stage together performing.
Rest in peace, Chester.
Yeah, rest in peace, brother. Next segment we kind of wanted to get into was just the impact. And in terms, what we mean by that impact he had on me personally, impact he had on Mike personally, impact he had on the fans and the world. So just Chester. So at least for me, don't want to get emotional, but I mean like Chester. I think first time I ever heard him was first time I heard Linkin Park song was In the End. So just hearing his voice in that, man, he just has such a distinct voice. And the thing that made Linkin Park very prominent during that time period, it was a whole bunch of 90s pop and singers, solo singers, female singers, very pop. Pop reigns during that time period. A lot of rock did too, but pop was like prominent, very on the radio because pop kind of like runs radio in a way.
It's the only thing that's friendly enough, let's say.
yeah, exactly. So when you hear
to
like,
an extent, clearly you have your rap stations and your all the.
But I heard Chester for the first time like in the End. So when In the End was on pop radio, you had this rock song that is like pop rock. In the End was like pop rock, being so you hear this band boom fused in with all these boy bands. They're like, whoa, where did this sound come from? And then that's why I was like, man, this is dope. I love this song. Who is this? And I want to know more. And that was the first, I don't know, I guess it was the first time I ever met Chester.
Met.
Yeah, it was the first time I ever met him through a song. So that was awesome. But I just love how dynamic he is as a vocalist and as a singer. I think that's what makes him so special. When you look at Linkin Park in general, you have like the spectrum, right? So on this side you have maybe like the most recent work where it's more poppy, more pop rockish, pop friendly, and then you have the other stuff on the other side of the spectrum, which is very heavy rock, alternative rock, all that. So I mean like that's Linkin Park, and Chester's that too, because Chester can be he can sing like a pop artist. He can sing with that soft tone, but then he could also be just freaking screaming songs. To see someone, a lot of celebrities have said this too recently, in these past couple of days, where he's like one of the most talented artists they've seen live, because he's able to change his voice, change the tone, change the pitch from here to here. And he can go anywhere in between as well. And that's what makes him such a talent. That's what the impact he had on me. And just listening to all the songs from all the albums, how much of a happy person he was too. He from all the interviews, I don't know him personally, so I can't speak on that level, but from what the fans have seen in videos and their little tours and anything from their whole entire careers. So for me, he means a lot. And I think I said it probably in the past, like how can you cry over someone who's a celebrity in a way?
They don't necessarily even know.
Yeah, that you don't even know. Like I don't know him. Like I don't know Chester like how I know Mikey. You know what I mean? Like that. Like how Mike Shinoda knows Chester, I can't share that. I don't have that resemblance to him. But I did cry. I did get emotional when he died, because that band has been with us since we were like in third grade. That's a childhood connection. So I don't usually get that emotional over celebrities in a way, but this is something. These are people. These are a band. This is a band that I've listened to almost every day. So I hear these songs, and you carry that with you all the time. So I can say he's the best singer in my opinion. I'm probably biased, but it's because they're my favorite band. But he's a legend, and
for sure.
And he inspired a lot of people to create music. He inspired a lot of people to get through hard times. I read a whole bunch of comments saying Chester has the songs that Chester was a part of, and all these songs from Linkin Park. People have confessed, saying that those songs had helped them through drug addictions, through depression, through suicidal thoughts, through anything, any tough, hard time they were going through, maybe something with their jobs. Chester saved a lot of lives. Linkin Park has saved a lot of lives through their music. and that resonates big time globally in the music industry, period. A lot of bands have started their careers because of Linkin Park, because of their music. They meant a lot to me. So I'll pass it to Mike.
I mean, yeah, he really touched on most of it. It's just like the same as him. The first song I ever heard was "In the End," but I saw the music video before anything, and just remembering like, what was this? Like, it was so different to me. It was so unique, and the way the guy could he sings, and before he even finishes a verse, at the beginning he could be singing, and by the end of that same verse, or that same line even of the verse, he throws some screaming in there, and like it's almost like a weird auto tune in a sense. But like just that and the vibe of it all, like I feel like besides maybe Sode, I had never listened to rock, and I know that's kind of an extreme, but it's just circumstances of how I grew up. But yeah, that was very different because it almost had a level of it has a level of hip hop to it, and they do have a DJ, and they have a rapper, and Chester being the front man for that. It was cool to see someone, be able to use their voice like that, and like whenever I listen to Linkin Park, even that song specifically, I get really into it. No one's ever like kind of captured me into a song the way that has. Like a lot of the songs when I listen to them, I get goosebumps just because like you can really feel, the things that he's saying, and like you kind of like dive into it. It's a little bit crazy. Throughout the years listening to Linkin Park, and really that main connection of being able to relate and like feel the music, like that's really the big thing for me. And I think he was very good at translating his feelings into the things, and really being able to gravitate everyone towards him, and put something special out there.
Just to add, when I was talking about that spectrum, like how Mikey was just saying, he's able to translate the way he feels through the lyrics, through the music, and that's what resonates a lot with people. He can have like this ferocious angst, and then he can have like this soothing calm in his voice. And I don't know too many artists that have that combination and can do it well, studio-wise, live.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is. It's a crazy talent. We're not gonna see something like that again for a very long time.
Because of all of that, we could definitely talk about some of our favorite, moments.
So we're definitely gonna mention here next our favorite Chester moments and songs. To clarify, this isn't our favorite Linkin Park songs ever.
That'd be too hard.
Really hard for like us and myself to create that list, because I still can't create a top 10. That's insane, man. I love too many. I love too many of the songs, the soft songs and the hard songs.
You can put most of a whole album in a 10. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
We need a top 40.
Yeah, they have 7 studio albums plus like all these underground tracks, 4 minor tracks. Obviously they're not Linkin Park, but I mean like it's just really hard. Like it's just hard. 7 studio albums, and then you trying to say condense that into 10 songs? That's insane. It's just our favorite Chester moments in Linkin Park songs. So it could be a line, maybe it could be a whole song. Just to clarify as well, this is not a ranking. It's not in any particular order. We kind of did it just kind of like in album order, just to go through it in a way. Just to pick songs from each album, we kind of did it like that, but they're not like, one's not the best, the 10th one isn't the best, the worst. Okay, so let's get into it. Actually, before we get into the list, we have honorable mentions.
Yes,
trust
honorable
me,
mentions.
This list was hard to create. I know.
I mean, they being that they're honorable mentions, they were on the list.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So
they were on the list.
We just had to basically like take a few of them out, and because really we can't. This would take way too long. So
when I originally created the list, man, I think I had like 29 songs on there. So I mean, like, ugh. And I was really trying to like pick from each album. Again, these aren't the best Linkin Park songs. You know, that's a different list. These are our favorite Chester moments, starting with honorable mentions. Our first honorable mention is In the End. We kind of already just talked about it.
We pretty much discussed it already. It's just, you know, that first track that like brought a lot of people in, you know what I'm saying? It brought both of us in. That track that like started it all, you know what I'm saying? We definitely have to put that in there. It's one of the most recognizable ones, and it's really where you can, you know, right from the beginning, you can see just how dynamic things can get.
Our second honorable mention is Numb. So Numb, obviously, I mean, like, that's a groundbreaking song, man. Everybody knows Numb. Everybody knows In the End. Probably the most recognizable songs ever. In Numb, Chester is he's emotional. His voice can be very soft and soothing at some moments, but then he lets you know how much he really feels. This is true to him. He feels numb for a reason, you know. You
can feel that pain in the vocals.
And that resonates with a lot of people. Feelings are real. Going through hard times is real. And when you become an adult, it becomes way more apparent. All these different things take a toll on someone even more. Next honorable mention is A Place for My Head. A Place for My Head is from Hybrid Theory, and one of the parts that we kind of like, a piece that we took from that song was the climatic yelling at the end. So just like, you try to take the best of me,
go away.
You try to take the best of me, go away. You try to take the best of me, go away. You try to take the best of me, go away. And that song is played live, like, on another level, man. Studio-wise, it's so freaking awesome, but live, it's just like, man, everybody's...
You can really jump to that.
If you can't get hype off of that song, there's something wrong with you. Our next honorable mention is Breaking the Habit. That one's very... Breaking the Habit is very emotional as well, because it deals with kind of like, you know, just like the song title, breaking the habit, breaking addiction, bad things happen in your life that you keep on repeating, you know?
Whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You know, it could be alcoholism, drugs, relationship, just bad choices in general you make.
Yep.
I've definitely jammed out to the song, and it's helped me multiple times just kind of get back into the zone and know that you're a strong person.
Even the music video too, animation.
The music video is intense. If you guys haven't seen that, I'm sure we'll play a little bit of a clip just real quick.
Where have you been all these years?
I don't. But yeah, take a look at the music video. Shout out to the artist. They did an amazing job being able to still convey the passion and the pain and the desire to get through that through the video and the visuals. It's amazing. So go check that out.
And our last but not least honorable mention is Giving Up from Minutes to Midnight. That one we picked because
it's pretty simple. If you go listen to it, it's about 20 seconds. It's about 20 seconds of just a continual just roar, basically.
A roar. That song is like, when you think about Chester's screaming abilities, man, he's roaring for like a good 20 seconds at some point in that song, in the back end of the song.
Kind of like Mariah holding a high note for a decent amount of time, but instead it's Chester holding a scream.
Exactly. Yep. Perfectly put. Those were our honorable mentions for Chester moments and songs.
Let's get into the list.
Yep. Let's get into it. So, let's silence that. Because I heard it ringing. So the first song that's a part of our Chester moments, top Chester moments.
Top 10.
Top 10. really hard. So the first one is One Step Closer, and the piece that we picked from that song was the climatic, shut up when I'm talking to you. Shut up when I'm talking to you! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! So we picked that part of that song because it is so iconic, not only for all the fans across the world, but for Chester. That was the first time we kind of heard him yell, like, whoa, this is what this guy can do. Like, where did this come from? Like, you probably heard that for the first time. You were like, as a kid, at least for us, we were like,
your mom's, you're listening to it in the room, and your mom's like, what is that? Turn that off.
Turn that off.
What is that screaming?
You know, why did he say shut up? You know, like, shut up.
Who's he telling to shut up?
Who's he telling to shut up? I know he's not telling me. You know what I mean? As the parent, you know, you gotta careful what you're listening to, child. But that's just iconic. Iconic for Chester. It was one of the first times that, I believe that we heard him.
I mean, it goes way beyond what we hear in the end, so.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. This song is totally different than In the End. So we took that line, and that line is favorable for them to play in concerts and stuff like that. It gets everybody all rowdy.
Super epic.
Get those pits moving. You know, if somebody falls, pick them up. All that. So,
the mosh pits, not the arm pit.
There's something inside me that pulls beneath the surface, consuming, confusing, crawling in my skin.
So we picked that part of the song, the first verse going into the chorus, just to like really pull. This moment for Chester is how soft his voice can be, but then during the same song in the chorus, he gets all aggressive and he really shows you what he's saying and why he's saying it. So like the first verse, you know, there's something inside me that pulls beneath the surface. His voice is at this level, very calm,
tranquil.
Yeah, and he's just there at this level. And then the chorus of Crawling is very like, you know,
boom, out of nowhere.
Boom, out of nowhere. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa, I thought we were listening to a slow song or a soft song or something like that, you know? So the balance and the combination of those two, like, you know, those two levels is captivating.
Yeah, it's just a testament to how early he was doing all of that.
The next song we have on our list is Easier to Run from Meteora.
Something has been taken from deep inside of me, a secret I've kept locked away, no one can ever see.
Reason why we picked Easier to Run right there for a Chester moment is because I like to call it the painful tranquility. It's almost like he's telling you a story, and how, like, he's almost whispering to you, telling you the story, almost like if he's sad and he's just there talking to a friend in a corner. Someone's going through a hard time, and it's almost like if you could picture that imagery. And then when he really gets emotional, he really shows it to you in the chorus. But it's just that exchange of how soothing he can be with his voice, and then all of a sudden, you know, really break out, especially in the bridge of that song. The next song on our list is from the same album, From the Inside.
I won't waste myself on you. Waste myself.
From the Inside, reason why we picked that one, that's obviously an iconic moment from that song as well.
Just from what you heard from that little clip, I have no words.
It's very climatic too. It seems like this whole entire time throughout the song, you know, I don't know who to trust, no surprise. And he's very, very calm too. He has that, you know, you see that a lot from Chester, a very calm, soothing voice, and then boom, he lets you know how he feels, and it comes in those yells, and it comes in those screams. I won't waste myself on you. Next song on our Chester Moments list is Shadow of the Day from the album Minutes to Midnight.
Sun will set for you.
picked "And the Sun Will Set for You," the second chorus, a little more climatic with the instrumentals in the background.
It really brings out his vocals, and it's a little bit more calm. It's kind of almost like he's loud, so like you can kind of hear him sing very loudly, but it's still singing. You know what I'm saying? So like in some of the other songs we've touched on, he's yelling and he's getting very loud, but he has to yell to get there. And this, just after, you know, the line he spoke about, if you notice when he says "in the shadow of the day," it's super like loud and vigorous, but it's still very sensual, and he's singing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's cool to see that. He could go loud in several different ways.
"Shadow of the Day" is also another song off of the album that relates to that. One's like "Leave Out All the Rest." It's one of like those times where you can find Chester kind of sing the whole entire song and not yell, not be a little aggressive with his voice, no roaring, none of that. And it's a soft song, very emotional song as well. But he's singing throughout the whole entire time. Next on our list is "The Little Things You Give Away."
Water gray through the windows, up the stairs.
It took me a long time to get into this song because as a fan, you get used to Hybrid Theory and Meteora. So then when you hear something this soft, you're like, whoa, why am I not getting something loud? And that's what I love about Linkin Park as well. They challenge my musical opinion, and they help me evolve musically and how I listen to music. And that, yeah, it's okay, I can listen to the song and love it just as much as a hard song. So it's very stripped down. Those parts that you hear is predominantly his voice. Very
basic, minimal instrument involvement. You could really just hear him singing and getting into his, his character and
there's a different tone from him too. Like the way you hear his voice there, it sounds like his voice is a little weak in a sense. Like it's like he's just really carrying it out. And I don't want to say weak. Weak is not really the right word, but I mean like it just sounds like it's not
soft.
Yeah, it's just a lot softer in terms of like how much he's putting into his voice, projecting it. The verses are whispered in a way where it sounded different. First time we kind of got that from him.
It's a testament to the diversity of all the songs that they were creating and just how different he could be. Which would bring us into the next song, "The Messenger."
The Messenger from 1,000 Suns.
Life leaves us blind. Love keeps us calm.
It's the last track on that album. The moment we picked for Chester in this one is just, I think the whole song in general, more so the choruses, because this is almost like a lullaby in a way, a little medley, and his voice is the dominance of the song. But you hear the instrumentals in the beginning, you're like, oh, it's a slow song. It's a little lullaby. They're closing off the album. But his voice sounds so strong.
Very powerful.
Very powerful, very rough, aggressive. And you're like, whoa, it kind of doesn't, it's not a typical slow song wouldn't do this. It wouldn't do, a soft voice will go with a soft instrumentals. You have soft instrumentals with a rough, aggressive tone. And that's what the contrast in that song is what makes it. The quote from this song is, when life leaves us blind, love keeps us kind. And a lot of fans cherish that line. So moving toward the end of our list, we have next up "Keys to the Kingdom" from the Hunting Party.
No control, no surprise. Took the keys to the kingdom down that road in my life.
The reason why we picked that one, man, I remember when I first grabbed the Hunting Party and I heard "Keys to the Kingdom" and I was like, whoa, that was too much. I was like,
that's a lot.
That was too, I think that's as far as I go, like the screaming wise. I was like, whoa, I think that's the craziest I ever heard his voice in terms of yelling, really like gritting through his teeth, and oh man, so that's like another level for him.
Yeah, we've been talking about the spectrum of like, he can go, with the more recent stuff, it's very pop, and then we got the kind of alternative rock, like heavier stuff, and this is their range. But he can definitely go beyond the pop and go even softer and you know, very mellow tunes, and then to this side of the spectrum, he could go all the way to screamo. And this is a perfect example of that. So, and it just, his voice is so recognizable. If you hear if you heard in the little clip, there's a little bit of like almost like distortion in his voice.
Yeah.
And even with that, it's just like, it's so intense, and it's like, wow, you know exactly who that is. So for our last two, the first one we have is Heavy, featuring Kiera off One More Light. They're both off One More Light, their most recent album. And just, you know, as we play this, kind of keep in mind how recent this is. This came out this year, and you know, it all becomes a bit more familiar.
I don't like my mind right now, stacking up problems that are so unnecessary. Wish that I could slow things down. I wanna.
Why is everything so heavy?
These last two are going to be hard to kind of talk about because this album just came out in May. 2 months later, he's no longer here. This album, you know, I got a lot of flack in the beginning because this is probably the
farthest.
Yeah, the farthest down to the spectrum that they've gone. It's the lightest.
As a full project, you know, they've definitely sprinkled soft songs and you know, poppier tunes here and there, but this one's really kind of gone to that final, like all the way down. Like he was saying, people gave a lot of flack for, you know, just how different it was sounding from basically everything else, especially Meteora and Hybrid Theory.
You know, in the end, no pun intended, that's what makes Linkin Park so great. That's why they're able to be around for this long, too. Their music has changed with the times, and they're able to stay relevant, and they're able to stay producing great stuff. And I love this album. This is like their feels album. If you're feeling some type of way, there's a song in here for that. So Heavy.
There's an app for that. In this album, there's a song for that.
The part we chose from Heavy was the first verse for Chester. So, you know, I don't like my mind right now, stacking up problems that are so unnecessary. You can just hear his voice. His voice sounds so emotional when he's singing that part. It sounds like he's almost half doing it, half singing it, and then you can hear like interruptions in his voice as well. You can hear the emotion. You know, it's almost like he's sifting. You know, sifting through this. You know what I mean? He keeps on sniffing through it, or something like that, where it's sort of just like his voice keeps on going down. It almost sounds like he might like cry a little bit as well. He's able to bring his voice down to that level where obviously he's not doing that, but it sounds that way. This album picks up so much more value, I believe, in my opinion, now that he's no longer here compared to what it got when it first came out. And I also believe this record is one of those where over time, it gets better. So maybe a year or two from now, you look back at this record and you're like, yeah, wow, I'm totally digging these songs now, not when it came out. I felt that way with 1,000 Suns. When 1,000 Suns came out, it was that concept album where there were tracks, there were songs, and then some of the tracks were just like instrumental pieces of distortion and different type of audio pieces that connected like that connected one piece of the song to the next. You know, so it was like this journey. And it took me a while to get used to 1,000 Suns, but I love it. It's one of their best stuff too. Mike, Shinoda, and Chester talking about this song and just how these songs are more uplifting because they're so relatable. How many people can relate to that? I don't like my mind right now, stacking up problems that are so unnecessary. I know I've gone through that personally where I strongly dislike my mind. Why have so much this negativity in my mind? Maybe toward other people, toward myself, self-inflicted. Why is my life like this right now? It was so great, so good. Why is it crappy?
When it shouldn't.
Yeah, when it shouldn't.
And our last one. Yeah. By no means is it the favorite or the least favorite.
Yep.
We have One More Light off the same album. And in this song, you're really going to be able to hear, you know, Chester.
Who cares if one more light goes out in the sky of 1,000,000 stars? It flickers. Who cares?
So for that one, you could definitely hear the emotion in his voice. Very emotional. The band was going through a death from their record label, Warner Brothers, as well. They dedicated the song to Chris Cornell as well. So you're talking about two different deaths that they were all going through. This song talks about, what does it mean when someone dies? Does it matter? Do you just go on through your regular life? The moment we picked from this song was, who cares if one more light goes out? Well, I do. He cares if someone passes away. He cares if that life is gone now.
Yeah, there's a lot of pain in that song. You really can hear it, as he's talking about the subject, like almost anger, even like a very subtle just hint of anger, where he speaks on, how people that we love and people that we have around us, at any moment someone goes, how many people really care that person's not there anymore? Like, if he wasn't here tomorrow, I'm sure, it would affect me deeply in some type of way, but, maybe someone out there that, has nothing to do with him or doesn't know him, like, it's just going to be another person that's gone, and there is no different, the world is no different between when he was or wasn't here to that person, but, he makes it matter. He makes it a point to know that, or to tell people that it does matter when someone goes away, and it's important to keep those people and their memories alive, and just to know that people do care.
Yeah, and he also mentions in the song about, that, how life isn't fair. Life doesn't play by rules. Life is life, and it has its own laws, and things can go your way for a long period of time. You're on this tear, and all of a sudden, boom, you're rock bottom. You're in the dirt, the floor being pulled from your feet when you least expect it. So I hope people can cherish this album a little more, because it has a lot of sentimental value of what the band was going through their own personal lives while they were creating this. And they wanted to make songs where it was relatable, emotionally, physically, spiritually, however you want to put it. But it touches on a lot of different subjects. You can definitely find a song from this album, from One More Light, and the One More Light song. And if you're going through something, you can feel some type of way with this. And that wraps up our top 10 Chester moments. And that was a hard list to get through.
Definitely.
Like, we have so many favorite songs, so many songs. Like I said before, this wasn't a Linkin Park top 10. This was a Chester just pulling moments from songs, or maybe the whole song, moments from songs, lines.
Influences,
Yeah, and just really just piecing that together. Those were our favorites.
Clearly, we went through our list. We just want to give a quick shout out to everybody that's heard Linkin Park at one point, that's, used them to better themselves in some way, to get through something. Condolences again to the family, to Linkin Park themselves, and everyone who was close with Chester in one way or another. We just quickly want to touch on what we think is next for the band, and where do they go from here?
It's really hard. This is still fresh. It's gonna be fresh for a long time. Losing someone that close, like if you're one of the bandmates, you lose someone that close. I'm just thinking it from the band's perspective. You're not gonna do anything for a long time. They're not gonna do something for a while. And it's the way it happened too. So abrupt, out of nowhere. I think they just capped off the international part of their tour, and they were going to start the North American portion of it, I think, next week or the following, or sometime this month they're going to start the North American part. So obviously the band canceled the rest of the tour. I don't think it's right for them to play during this time that they're grieving or mourning.
We understand 100%,
Yeah, like...
It's not hard to see why.
that'd be okay.
It is their lead singer is not there. They can't play most of their songs, if not all of them, without their lead singer. I don't think they should grab someone else to do this either. If different bands want to come together and kind of put up their own thing, but I don't think. I think Linkin Park needs their time right now. They need their space. If I see future projects in the future, maybe a tribute to Chester, they make an album. I don't know if they'll put it under the Linkin Park name, but maybe it might be like one of Mike Shinoda's side projects that he does, like a Fort Minor, maybe like an EP, maybe like something like 6 songs.
Yeah, I could see something like that.
Something like that, I could definitely see it, but after a long duration of healing, because right now they feel like they lost their own life as well. Thank you very much for being a part of this video. We wanted to make this video because we love Linkin Park, we love Chester Bennington. Wanted to compile this together in tribute and memory of them. You know, if you
show our support,
show our support. There's no way I couldn't have done this. This is my band. This is our band. You know, we love them. So thank you for staying with us this whole time. We wanted to make it lengthy too, because that's how important it was for us. I didn't want to make something so short and not important in a way. You know, I wanted to make it have some sentimental value. And if you're a fan out there and you watch this, thank you very much, because we feel the same way as you do right now. We're hurting. It's really hard for me to still listen to any of their songs right now. It's going to take a while for me to kind of listen to a song and sing it at the top of my lungs, because I know who's singing those lyrics. Thank you very much, and I hope to keep on making vlogs in the future, maybe a future podcast. Stay tuned, subscribe to my page, drop
the like button,
hit the like button, share this on Facebook, any social media that you have. I hope many people can see this, because we're all grieving, we're all mourning the loss of our brother in the band. If you want to leave any comments below this video, please do. Maybe you want to add something to our favorite Chester moments. Maybe there's a song that you're like, yeah. We thank you for joining us, and much love from myself, Lawrence, and
Mikey.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you very much, guys.
Peace.